How's it, Data fam? Welcome to Data with Clarence. Now, today we're going to speak about something really cool, right? So, recently I have been using AI for doing my data analysis, specifically Claude. And I've been using Claude quite a lot on Excel to build data analysis for my business, just to understand the data that I have. And I have to say, AI is really getting really good at doing data analysis, not just doing formulas, but also building, visuals and dashboards and all of that, right? So in today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys through how you can actually use Claude for data analysis. We're going to clean a data set and we're going to build a dashboard using the data set and sort of build insights that we can actually extract from that demo data set so that we can understand what trends or business decisions we can actually make from the data set. And we're going to do all of that just using Claude. I'm not going to code anything. I'm not going to be building any dashboards, but Claude is going to build it for us in just under a few minutes, right? So before we get started, please do not forget to like and subscribe to this video so that you can see more content like this. Without wasting any time, let's get into it. Okay, so this is the data set that we're going to be using, right? So this is basically sort of a retail company, right? This retail company basically has got order IDs, the date at which the orders actually happen. And you can already see there's some of the data quality issues that we can see within the data set itself. Some of the date formatting are not sitting in the right way, right? Basically, we've got the customer names, customer IDs. The customer names are also not standardized. The province, city, and you've got sales and all of that, right? Sales channel, those are the different channels at which they're probably selling, some of the products. And you've got the product name, you've got the category, you've got the quantity, unit price. So this is the data set that we've got. And at first glance, you can already see that there's data cleaning issues that you can already identify here. So in today's session, we're really going to be focusing on the data cleaning aspect using Claude, right? Firstly, that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the data cleaning aspect using Claude, and then we're going to see if we can build some dashboards and interesting tables that give us insights about our data set. Now, for you to do this, you need to make sure that you've added Claude as your add-on, right? So you just need to make sure that the Claude is actually added as your add-on. You need to have Excel, right? You need to have a paid version of Excel. I think that's the only way you can actually use Excel anyway, right? And you obviously would need some sort of a paid version for Claude. I think that would also work better, right? So normally it will just appear as an add-on, or you can just go to more add-ons, or you can just search for the add-on and get it and add it there, right? So that's what you basically need for the setup. If you need me to assist you in terms of, if you guys need another video for setting up Claude on the platform, please let me know. I can do another video, right? So that's the first thing you want to do. Now, once you've done that, now you want to open the chat option over here. Now remember, firstly, we're going to clean our data set. Then secondly, we're going to get insights from it. Now, how do you clean data set? Now, this is really simple, right? Honestly, there's nothing hectic that you really have to do, right? So I'm just going to say, maybe let's say, please clean my data so that it is ready for analysis, right? So clean my data so that it is ready for analysis, right? Fix the formatting. What is the standardization, right? Some of the basic things. You can list whatever data cleaning things that you want to do, but I'm just going to leave it here. I want to see how far I can actually do. This is the worst prompt you can honestly give it, but I feel like you can also create custom prompts, right? I'm going to do another video to show you guys different custom prompts that could actually yield the greatest results. But here we're just going to use a very simple sort of version of this, right? And also say, please, let's say create a cleaned copy once done, right? And add notes indicating what was done, right? So this is going to be great because now there's some sort of trail where I can know what was actually done, right? So let's see what it does. Sometimes it will ask you a couple of questions, but sometimes now it's going to read the data set, right? So now it's trying to understand the data set, what exactly we've got. You can see it's saying reviewing data cleaning requirements and approach strategy, and it's obviously going to try to add a bit of things on its own. So it's already understood, okay, the data is measured across nearly every column. There's about 278 columns. Now it's working through it, right? So now it's really trying to understand, what can it actually clean and what are some of the activities that would actually be relevant for it to actually do. And the background is going to run a bit of code, right? So normally when Claude wants to do something very, very hectic, it will normally ask you a couple of questions, so you will have to fill in some questions depending on what it actually asks you. Or when it wants to delete something or create something, it will normally just give you that request to just check with you if it should actually do it. So I feel like those are some of the nice things that really make it easy. So now it is actually evaluating the data quality and inconsistency, right? So it reads the data set. That's one of the beautiful things about AI, right? Look, me cleaning this data manually, it might take me some time, because now imagine if the records actually do increase, right? So I think we've went too close about a minute, right? So now there we go. So what has it done? So it has given you the full profile, found some of the issues that it has actually identified across, the different things. So a few decisions before I can build. So now it's making a few decisions. So 400 rows are exact duplicates. So, okay, do we want to remove duplicates? I'm going to say remove flag, do not delete, remove duplicates. So I approve, right? How should I treat invalid entries, negative quantities, negative days, and all of this? So now it's asking you, how should it be treating, let's say, negative quantity. So now if you think about it, why would we have negative items, right? That could be suspicious. It could be whether someone did something wrong, but I'm going to say correct where obvious. Let's see what this option does. 245 rows are discount as, okay, this amount, while the rest use the standard normalized to decimals. Yes, so it's identified a problem in your data set, normalizes decimals, right? So now we've just normalized our data set as a decimal, right? So those are some of the things that it will ask you. It reads through your data, and it was really quick in actually reading your data. And now that it has understood, some of the requirements and some of the things that it needs to actually get from you, it is actually going to start doing the process of data cleaning. So whenever it wants to do something really advanced, it will often ask with you. Now, I'm going to skip over the video all the way to the point where the cleaning is actually done. Then we can debrief on the cleaning, right? We're officially back, right? And Claude has officially finished doing some of the data cleaning. And this is some of the things that I really like. So we've got two new tabs here, right? So this is our raw data as it is. It was not touched. So you can always come back to this data if you want to fix anything, right? Very important. Now, if you look at our mapping, right, our mapping has basically mapped out some of the transformation and standardization that Claude actually did. So if you wanted to know what are some of the transformations, you can always refer to this. This is going to be great because now, there's some sort of documentation of what Claude actually did. So I'd really recommend that if you're going to be doing data analysis using Claude and Excel, try to make sure that you've got your mappings, right? And it has got some cleaning notes. This is also really important because it is actually telling you some of the issues that identified and how it actually resolved them. So all of that information is actually sitting on cleaning notes, right? So because I explicitly did ask it to just add notes. Now, if you look at our data set, can you now see that our data set is standardized, clean, the names are standard, the provinces are standard, the cells are standard, the sales channels and all of that, right? And there's also sort of like formulas. So this is formulas for the unit price. So it's actually getting the data from there, right? So there's also quantity, right? So we've got quantity over here. We've got sort of the different categories, right? And at the top of each and every single item, there is actually comments, right? And some of the things that it actually did. This is really useful because now we have got comments within our data set that we can always refer to just to understand, right? And it also adds some data quality flags, missing unit price, missing rating. I think this is really great, but the data clean that has been applied, it has actually standardized everything, which I think is really great. You as a data analyst actually doing this manually yourself would actually take quite a lot of time. Now, this is really good. I am happy with the data cleaning. Now, we're going to do the next steps, right? It normally just leaves comments even in the comment section, right? So now I'm going to say, can you build dashboards, right? Dashboards with insights about the data so that we can understand our business, right? So this is going to be really important. So we're asking you to build dashboards so that we can understand our business. Now, this is important to do after you having cleaned your data set, right? Because now, once the data set is cleaned, it is ready for building KPIs, insights, trends, and all of that. So it's now highlighting some of the things that it's going to be building, right? So that's going to be an important step. Now, I'm going to basically stop here and then come back once the sort of Claude is actually ready for the analysis, right? But before that, I see there's a couple of questions that Claude is actually asking us, right? So it's saying, two things worth flagging, right? The revenue matrix will exclude the 35 missing rows. So, the rows that were removed. So we say, okay, cool, unit price and the 35 missing quantity, I'll treat the blank discounts as 0 for revenue mats only, right? So it's telling you some of the things that you should take into account based on the cleaning. Does this cover what you want to understand, right? Yes, I'm happy with that because some of those items, we didn't really need them. I'm going to say yes, right? Now, let's see what it actually asks us. So if Claude doesn't need any more context or any more information, it is then going to start building the dashboard. I'm just going to stop here and come back once our dashboard is actually here, because it does take a few minutes for it to actually build the dashboards. Okay, now we are officially back and Claude has just done some amazing work for us, right? So there's a couple of worksheets that have been created for us, right? The first one is the KPIs. So Claude has done some calculations on some of the KPIs, the number of orders, unique customers, right? It also did a count of unique customers, not just any customer, but unique customers, right? And also did a calculation on revenue, net, how much revenue we're making for each of the different months, right? We've got product ranking the revenue provided by each product, as you can see here. You can see that the laptop has been contributing quite a lot of revenue for the company, and also the smart TV. So roughly around 15% return rate. And there's also the net revenue. So 46% of our revenue comes from the laptop, right? So this is a very important product for us. This is insights that is really important, because you can see the revenue is actually sitting there, right? And you can see which are the top customers. It has also listed some of our top customers and noted them there. So we can see that I don't know how to pronounce the name, but let's say Ridwan Lamini, basically that's the name of the customer who contributed about 23% of our revenue. This would be a very valuable customer, like 23% of our revenue. All right, it's really, and also the provinces, we can see which of the provinces are actually contributing, right? So I think those are some really cool insights that we've got over here, right? So this is just the calculation. Now from the calculation, Claude has built the dashboards. Now tell me how long it will take you to build this as a data analyst. Be honest with me here. How long it will actually take you to build this as a data analyst. So we've got our KPI summary revenue. We're making about 4 million rands, quite a lot of money, great money. I wish it was my money. Gross revenue, right? This is probably the revenue before discounts and all the other things, right? And we've got the discount. So we've made about 313,000 in terms of discounts, and effective discount rate is 7%. We've got about 2,000 orders that we've made, and on average, the average order value is 2,000. So on average, people are spending 2,167 on each order, and we've sold about this is the amount of units we've sold. So some people place multiple orders in a sort of session, right? We've got units per order. So this is the amount of units that are bought on average per sort of order, right? And we've got unique customers. So we've got about 397 customers, and repeat customer rate. It has also done calculation repeat customer. This is really amazing, right? Now, this is really insightful insight that as a business person, I can start to make decisions, right? And understand what is actually going on. Cancellation rate, how often do people actually cancel? Then we've got our revenue trend graph here. So here we can see that these are the different months, right? So we tend to make a lot of money around this sort of month. So it's basically net revenue by monthly, right? By month. So this would be the different months that which we've been running our business. So basically looking at January 2024 all the way to June 2025. So this is based on the data itself. And then we've got orders by the month, right? So we can see that this actually correlates with when we made a lot of revenue, right? This is a really great dashboard. We are understanding our business when we're making money. Maybe why did we have a peak here and the rest of the months actually lower, right? This is really important insights. And we can see where the revenue comes from. So now it has created insights. So this is the revenue trend itself, and now we're seeing the revenue, where the revenue actually comes from, right? So we can see that majority of the revenue comes from KZN, right? So KZN brings in the most amount of revenue, followed by Gauteng. We've got Free State and Eastern Cape. So that's where we're making a lot of our money. And this is some of the provinces where we're not making as much money, right? This is great insights. And revenue by category, we can see that electronics is where we're making quite a lot of money. It could be because of how much each electronics item could actually cost. We've got products and channels, so we can see that this product brings us the most amount of money. Maybe we should be promoting it, eh? I don't know. We should be promoting it. And we can see net revenue by sales, right? So majority of our revenue sales comes from our website. So our website is a good selling platform for us. So we should really focus on improving our website. If most of our customers are spending time on the website, our website should be good because it's our main selling point. Maybe there's an opportunity to do better than others to sort of upsell, provide more opportunities. And then operations and customer experience. So in terms of the order mix, right? So how many orders? So what is this? This blue here, basically, this is actually indicating the amount of orders that we actually delivered. So we are delivering quite a lot. We've got completed, we've got in progress, we've got a couple of orders in progress, we've got pending and return. So we are doing great, right? And then average rating by delivery time. So if the delivery time tends to be shorter, the rating tends to be high. So we need to try to speed up our delivery, right? Then we've got returns diagnostic, right? Returns by the rate. So a lot of electronics are being returned, right? There could be some reasons, and returned by discount band. So whenever the discount is high, there seems to be high amounts of products being returned, right? So this is really great insights. Like imagine understanding this about your business. You understand what products are selling. You can make so much decisions from looking at this. And the other nice thing, it basically added some of the key matrices, right? So findings, revenue rest on a single product, laptop 15-inch, alone 45% of the revenue with the smart inch, and at the top two products make up about 60%, right? So this is telling you where your money is coming from. I think this is really great insights for us to have, if you read this. Now, imagine imagine you being a non-technical person, because you saw I didn't write any code. I just told this thing to clean data. I told it to build a dashboard. And that is the power of using Claude in Excel. I believe that this is the future of analysis. It's going to open a lot of opportunities for data analysis. But one thing that I say, you always need to just sense check some of the numbers. Does this revenue make sense? Just do a couple of calculations just to sense check this. But this is how you can actually use Claude for data analysis. And I believe that this is a really valuable way to actually use Claude for doing data analysis, because it can really open up a lot of opportunities for getting more insights, right? So I think if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Do not forget to subscribe, guys, as it actually promotes our channel, right? So, but this has been great. Thank you so much for tuning in.